Today we're going to discuss niches and how to use convergent evolution for some fantasy world building. A niche, if you don't remember from your biology way back in the day, was how much a species matches to its environment. That means how it affects the environment is affected by the environment. For instance, if there's more food, how they increase their population, and how it affects the environment is it a predator taking out other animals, is it prey, that kind of thing. And in fantasy world building, well, and just in world building in general, we expect biological creatures to reflect their geographic environment. That's one of the reasons that in the pyramid of fantasy world building, geography is first, followed by biology. So we expect them to reflect their environments. Like, this is kind of unconscious. Like, you don't expect there to be snakes way up in the Arctic, and you don't expect there to be hairy fish floating around, And this is probably because of Tolkien, as you pointed out, primary worlds and secondary worlds, how we use our knowledge of the primary world to judge the veracity of the secondary world. So then how do we make new creatures within our worlds? Can we use them to fill in niches? Well, fortunately we can, because of convergent evolution. And if you don't remember that from biology, that's the idea that two species separated by space and or time can evolve the same way to fill the same niche. For instance, fish have this very, not aerodynamic, water dynamic body, same as dolphins, which are mammals, totally different species, same as the water-bearing dinosaurs from way back. So because they're all fitting in the same niche of hunting animals in the water, hunting in the water and surviving in the water, they all took on the same biological structures and look the same. So we can use those in fantasy worlds by just kind of taking an analog creature and filling in for that niche by making something new. Banthas in Star Wars are a great example, where they're the beasts of burden, which were really just elephants with stuff on them. And then those weird horsey things they had in the Last Jedi movie, I don't remember what they're called and can't be bothered to look it up, because that's what a great movie that was, in my opinion. So again, we can do that within fantasy world building, taking that niche and then fitting something else into it. However, only one creature can really exist in a niche. Coyotes and wolves inhabit the same niche, so they fight for the same resources. And wolves won for a long time, but we've been hunting wolves in America, so now coyotes are switched in and have taken over those niches. Humanoid species are kind of the same thing. There was actually a video recently that came up of chimpanzees hunting the gorillas and killing them, which are not humans, but still kind of thing. But we did have multiple different species, and now they're only Homo sapien. I've been reading a lot of X-Men comic books. Sorry about that. That said, because of convergent evolution, when you add new species and races into your fantasy world, that does mean that they're going to fit within the same niche, and that means that we can also use our understanding of our own cultures and our own biology to do them. So like elves and dwarves and such kind of makes sense because they're filling the same place, and because of a niche in their world, and because of convergent evolution, it makes sense that they would look like us and have the same sexual dimorphism and that type of thing. So then we can then extrapolate further and then base their culture somewhat on ours, because they're filling the same cultural structures as ours. So there you go, how to use niche and convergent evolution to fill out your fantasy world. I hope you can use it to build a better world.